morning, everyone. Welcome to day 6 of the Vegan Weight Watchers Challenge. So I am having something that I had the other day. It was very good and it was very easy for breakfast. I'm just having oatmeal. So I made a bowl with a half a cup of oatmeal and I put a banana in it, and I'm going to put some, this is the date syrup that we had. And granted, it's going on a little, it's kind of old, but I don't know. Smells fine. There's no fuzziness growing on it, and people sell date syrup that's been around for like forever. So I'm not actually sure when it is that this needs to go, but it looks good, it smells good, it tastes good, so I'm gonna go with it's still good. So anyway, I'm gonna put a little bit of that on there, and yeah, I'm gonna go eat breakfast. So I've got just a ton of stuff to do today. I have to go back to work tomorrow evening, so I have tomorrow morning that I can get some things accomplished as well, but there's some things that I have to do that I really need to get done. Like every year for Christmas I make my mom a calendar, and it's got pictures from the previous year worth of things of the kids doing stuff, you know, just things like that. Anyway, I need to make it because it needs to be ordered, and so yeah, it needs time to get delivered so it can get wrapped under the tree and all that good stuff. And then I always do Christmas cards, and I need to do those still. And if I don't do them this weekend, I'm gonna have a problem because I can't really do them the next weekend that I'm off because my daughter and son-in-law will be here for that weekend. So yeah, I need to be busy. So I'm going to eat my oatmeal, and I'm going to go continue working on getting some pictures put together for the calendar. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again later. All right, guys. Today has been a day, let me tell you. So I got the Christmas calendar for my mom done, which is awesome because like I don't think it was last year, but the year before, or maybe it was last year and not the year before, I don't remember. So I do a calendar every year for my mom. And yeah, like it was late by 2 or 3 days because I had to order it, and I didn't order it till too late. And yeah, I didn't get it to her at Christmas time, which was really a shame. So anyways, I've got it. I've got it going today. That's awesome. I got the Christmas cards done and ordered. That's awesome. I actually went ahead and I don't think my mother-in-law watches these videos. At least I don't know. Maybe she does. If she does, Linda, don't listen to this part. I ordered a mug that has a picture of my mother-in-law with all of her grandkids. So that was really cool. So yeah, anyways, so a very productive morning, but then we needed to go out to Target and get some things and stop and return something at Costco. And while we were out, I was starving, and so was my husband. So we stopped at a place called Mary's Mediterranean. So obviously they have heroes and all that kind of stuff. So they got meat on the big huge kebab thingy that you can have and that type of thing. But they have just tons of sides. Like there's big huge counter long full of sides. And most of them are vegan. And a couple of them are vegetarian because they've got like feta cheese or something like that on them. Anyway, so this is a platter of what I had. Fabulous. It was so delicious. So I had some just regular hummus. I had a salad that had like cabbage and tomatoes and peppers and seasonings of some sort. I don't know exactly what. Then I had a salad that had spinach and cranberries and pineapple and mushrooms. Something else, I don't remember. And then I had a salad that was cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers chopped up. And then there was one more thing that you're supposed to have on your plate, so I had a little pile of potatoes. So I didn't eat most of the potatoes because those were more points than a vegetable would be, but I don't know how many points were in my lunch. So I am going to say that I'm done for the day in terms of points, because granted it was all vegetables, but all of it, I mean, you're eating out. Even if it's a fresh vegetable, they've tossed it in oil, you know, to get the seasonings to stick to it and all that kind of stuff, you know, there's oil involved. So I'm just going to say that I'm done for the day in terms of points. So what I need to do now is have vegetables, and that's not a problem because I am going to make spaghetti, and this is going to be 0 point spaghetti. So here we go. So this is a recipe actually that I've made before. Haven't made it in a long time, but so I took a bunch of different recipes and pulled the pieces that I liked out and put it into my own recipe. And this is how I make, it's called veggie marinara. That's what I call it because it's not necessarily spaghetti sauce. It's a marinara sauce. So it's thicker, and it's not spaghetti sauce in that it's not super, super sweet like a spaghetti sauce would be. So first things first, you want to get your Instant Pot out. This is an Instant Pot recipe. So you don't have to do this in an Instant Pot. You could just cook it on the stove until it's cooked and then just blend it with an immersion blender. That's totally fine. Whatever. Anyway. Instant Pot. Just a hint, if you guys don't know this about an Instant Pot, you probably do, but you know the seal that's in the lid up here that has to be in there correctly or else it'll never come up to pressure? So we actually have 2 Instant Pots for this very purpose, because I made this exact marinara recipe and stained this thing like red, like super red, and it still smells like spaghetti sauce, like marinara sauce. This thing, if you pull it out and smell it, it smells like marinara sauce, which is very normal from what I understand. Because I looked all over online about, oh my gosh, how do you unstain this and make it not smell bad? And yeah, no, it's going to. It does absorb the flavors and smells of what you are making. So our other Instant Pot is all things that are boy friendly, and this Instant Pot is things that are not boy friendly. So if I'm making potatoes, it's going to go in the Instant Pot that the boys can eat potatoes, so that's just fine. They cannot eat tomatoes, they can't even come into contact with a tomato, so that's going to be in this Instant Pot. So just keep that in mind if you didn't know that it will stain this recipe for sure. If you use it, it will stain your lid for sure. Anyways, so what you're supposed to do, and I think I will because I have plenty of time. Normally I would just put everything in the Instant Pot and just turn it on and let it go, because why would you saute something if you don't have to? It's just gonna get blended in anyway, but it does add a nice flavor. So I'm going to get, I didn't get my container out, I apologize, but garlic, you know me. It's called, what I put in there, and if this is too much for you guys, cut back on the garlic, but 6 cloves of garlic. And then 1 large onion chopped, and 2 to 3 carrots chopped. So again, I'm just lazy and just buy shredded carrots because it's super easy. So that's what I do. So you take those 3 things and you put them in your Instant Pot and you saute it. You don't have to saute it for very long, just until the onions start getting so that they are pretty much done. But they're going to cook in the spaghetti this marinara sauce when you cook it anyway, so you don't really need to worry about that. But anyway, so just cook it a little bit so that it's got some extra added flavor. Basically, that's what that's about. So then you're going to add, so when I originally did this recipe, I used, let's see who that is. Hang on a second. I don't know who that is. ECHC? Okay, well, we'll ignore them. They'll stop eventually. So when I first made this recipe, I actually used crushed tomatoes. And I don't buy crushed tomatoes anymore because I have a hard time finding them with no salt added. So I just buy diced tomatoes now. And so just 2 cans of diced tomatoes. So that will be just fine. And then you want 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. I found that 3 tablespoons which is not quite, maybe a quarter of this jar, not quite half. Probably about a quarter of the jar. That really gives it a nice bite of tomato flavor. Use less if you want to, but I like it. I like the flavor. So when I made this, I also used 3/4 cup chopped basil, and I don't have any fresh basil because our basil plant that's outside that my husband grows basil in all the time because he loves watermelon and basil. Gross, but he loves it. My son loves it. One of my daughters loves it. Okay, whatever. More power to you. But it's dead. So I just have basil that I've got that's dried. So I'm just going to sprinkle basil in there. You also want to add 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. I no longer have Italian seasoning. Last time I used it, I just never bought anymore. So I just sprinkle stuff in. So I'm going to go pretty heavy on just sprinkling in some oregano and some parsley and a little bit lighter on the thyme. Those are what I'm going to use in place of the Italian seasoning. When I also first made this recipe, I used half a teaspoon of salt in it. I will not be putting any salt in it because there is absolutely 0 need for that whatsoever. I will put in probably 1 teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon in place of that, but that's like 1/3 of a point. So we're gonna still count this as 0 points. And then just sprinkle in some black pepper. So however much black pepper you like, put some black pepper in there. The other thing that you would add to this, if you were wanting to, is, and when I first made it, I added half a cup of red wine. I'm not going to put that in there because I'm going for 0 point spaghetti sauce, and I don't think I'm going to miss anything by not doing that. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but that wasn't my original recipe. So that is that. The one thing that I noted when I made this before was that it is strong on the tomato flavor. So seeing as my son and my husband are more used to a little bit sweeter marinara sauce, like an actual spaghetti sauce from the store, I am going to put 3 dates in there. So after you have put all those ingredients in there, including the dates, I'm going to seal it and pressure cook it on high for 3 minutes. And then just take it off, release. It doesn't matter. Let it manually release or let it release on its, whatever. It makes no difference to this recipe whatsoever. And then when you're done, you want to get an immersion blender and just blend it. And that is purely to your level of desire. So if you want it to be chunky, leave it like it is and it will be a chunky marinara. If you want it to be thinner spaghetti sauce, then go ahead and blend it. And then also, if you wanted to have this be a little bit thicker, you could just put a tiny little bit of tapioca flour or cornstarch or whatever in it and mix it really well and let it boil for a few minutes. And that will thicken it up really well too. That's not something I'm going to need to do. So what are you gonna put your 0 point spaghetti on? I'm actually gonna put mine on green beans. However, you could totally serve this over zoodles or zucchini noodles. And that would be really good. So I'm just a huge fan of green beans with spaghetti sauce. I don't know what it is, but do you guys do that too? I love it. It is so delicious. Absolutely love it. So that's what I'm gonna have mine on. My kids and my husband will have pasta. But anyways, I'm gonna go get this started. And I will see you guys in a little while to let you know about how this turned out and if the 3 dates worked out well, because I did not do that before, but I am gonna try to sweeten it up a little bit for my kid's sake because he would prefer it that way. So that's it, and I will see you guys later. Alrighty guys, so this is what the veggie marinara looks like before it gets blended. I forgot to tell you, you do need to put a cup of water in here. I apologize for not mentioning that before, but you do have to add water to this. I don't think you need a full cup because the tomatoes have liquid on them. But it's very, very thick, obviously. It's a vegetable marinara. So I'm going to blend this down so it becomes more of a spaghetti sauce consistency. But you do with this what you please. If you want it to be a little bit thicker, then you just leave it the way it is. If you want it to be thinner, then you go ahead and thin it out. So I'm going to blend this, and I will come back for a taste test in just a few minutes. Alrighty guys, and this is what it looks like when it's all blended. So I've got a little bowl of it here. I have tried it, my husband has tried it, and my son has tried it. And here's the deal. I think it's fabulous. I think it tastes great. My husband says it tastes very much like a Bolognese sauce because of the carrots, which is just fine. And my 10-year-old doesn't really like it. It's not a big problem, but I'm assuming that he doesn't really like it because it doesn't taste like Prego, which is what we usually use. So I'm not actually sure what it is about it he doesn't like, and he can't tell me what he doesn't like. He's just, no, I don't want that. So my husband and I are both going to eat it, and I think it's quite delightful. I'm going to enjoy it over the green beans, like I told you. And my husband says it's fine. Like, he would totally eat that. It's more of a Bolognese than a marinara, in his opinion. So maybe let's go with that, 0 point Bolognese. So anyways, this is really good. I do like it. I think it has the right amount of sweetness to it, so I wouldn't add more dates. The 3 dates was absolutely fine. Maybe a little bit less carrots because it's quite carroty, but again, it tastes really good to me, so that's kind of what it's meant to be. So I will show you guys what this looks like when it's plated up, and yeah, that'll be it for me for today, but I'll see you in just a minute. Alrighty guys, so here we go. There is supper. I'm still kind of full from lunch, to be honest with you, so I'm having a little plate of supper rather than a big huge plate because I had lots and lots of vegetables for lunch. So I am going to have some Bolognese served over green beans, and this is really good. It tastes really awesome. I'm going to enjoy this highly. Here, I'll show you. I promise. Yep, that's good. Yummy. Okay, so this is it for me for the day. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Hope you're having a good one.